The super lawyer.
I've been in that before, yes.
You're a National Trial Lawyers Top 100.
In that, yeah.
Multi-million-dollar Advocates Forum.
Correct.
$1 million Advocates Forum.
Correct.
Dang.
I mean, you are like the top of the top of the top of the top. Like I can't even.
And he's so humble.
I mean, so humble. You would, and then I want to go to all these that you do because I thought that was interesting. I would never know. So bad faith insurance.
We do some of that. The laws in Texas have changed a lot, and there's actually a case that's in front of the Texas Supreme Court in October that could really make it even worse for the consumers. And so I usually joint venture those with some other friends of mine.
What does that even mean, bad faith insurance?
If you get into a wreck and say, I only have a $30,000 policy and say you lose your arm, you have...
Lose your arm?
Yeah. Okay. So it's a no-brainer. You know, my carrier pays you your $30,000. You've got like a $500,000 uninsured, underinsured policy. And your carrier says, you know, F you, we're not paying it. Then there used to be some really good bad faith laws. And then a guy named Carlos Cortez, I'll give props out to Carlos. Carlos came up with some really good theories. And those are what's in front of the Supreme Court now to see if we can get some bad faith back because they took it away. But yeah, we look at them, and they end up happening a lot with homeowners claims, with like roof damage, hail, things like that. And I got a good friend of mine that we usually send those to. But
birth injuries.
We do. We used to do a lot of medical malpractice cases up until 2002 when they changed the law. And most people don't realize that the law in Texas on medical malpractice now sucks.
No way.
Yeah. So like if you're a stay-at-home mom or you're an old person, they can basically maim you and it's a $250,000 case. Like I've got the largest nursing home settlement in Dallas County history. It was like $2.5 million. And that case today, we wouldn't even take.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was really sad. I mean, they literally, the only thing they didn't do was put a gun to this lady's head and just pull it. I mean, it was really, really messed up what they did to her.
Oh, that makes
she was an Alzheimer's dementia patient with dysphagia, and they let her asphyxiate and then try to hide it. And it was pretty ironic when the paramedics showed up there trying to intubate her, and they'd given her a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and left her alone in the dining room. Well, if you have Alzheimer's and dementia, you don't know you're not supposed to eat that. And she had this thing called dysphagia where you have issues with swallowing. So it basically just gets lodged in her trachea.
Oh, my God.
And she asphyxiates. So when the paramedics show up and they're trying to intubate her, they keep pulling out like peanut butter and jelly. And so they take her over. They start to do at the hospital, and they look down there, her glottis is just covered with peanut butter and jelly, and they're like, we're not touching this, we're calling the state. And so the state came out, and literally when they dissected her trachea, it was like all compacted with peanut butter and jelly in there.
Oh my God.
It was really messed
horrible.
up. But like a case like that today, I wouldn't even take.
You wouldn't even take it.
No. But we are looking at a birth injury case right now. Umbilical cords wrapped around the baby's neck, and they should have done a C-section, and they didn't, and the baby's got a brain injury. So, yeah, not good.
Oh my goodness, car accidents. That speaks.
We do a lot of car wrecks. A lot of them that are traumatic brain injuries, and people don't really realize the forces that go on, how the brain can be injured in a car wreck.
Even like a minimal one.
Even
right?
yeah. That's even more people still are like. I just don't get it. You know, there's not a scratch in the bumper, and what they don't understand is the 𝐾 contra 𝐾 inside the brain and how it moves, hitting the front and the back. And then, you know, when you start looking at the fiber tracts inside the brain, I mean, they're like micronic thin, and they'll snap. And it's kind of like the telephone lines that connect from one side of a river to the other, from your right lobe to left lobe, and it'll break those. And so then all of a sudden you've got issues with like memory or speech or things like that.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Bicycle accidents, same, I guess.
Yeah.
Motorcycle.
We actually represent, do you remember last year, I need to call the family, there was a boy that was ran over going to school on the first day up in Frisco.
Yes, I remember that.
I represented that family in that
did.
deal. And it was really tragic. It's something that never should have happened. And my thought on that is, if they're going to require these kids to be at school at 6:30 in the morning, they should have the school zone flashing going on because it's not just for the football players, the band, the drill team, all these other organizations that are requiring kids to be there early. I think they're finally at the point they really wanted to go to the city council and say, look, it's very simple fix, and it could have prevented him from being killed.
I don't know how you deal with all this tragedy. It's a lot, I bet. I saw you actually post something about that personal injury lawyers. You go through depression. Yeah,
we do. And that's one of the reasons why I don't drink very often is because I think we have a really high rate of alcoholism.
Oh.
And I don't ever want to have. Actually, it goes back to my early 30s, and one of my best friends, who's a functioning alcoholic, and he's a lawyer, and he's a great lawyer. We're really good friends. I mean, I consider him one of my best friends. I came home and I woke up I was probably 35, and I woke up the next morning. I'm like, I'm done, and I'm like, I'm done drinking. I'm done waking up and feeling like crap. And I just kind of stopped drinking.
Really?
Until I get here, start feeding me shots of tequila. So,
but when you say you're done, like, do you stop completely, or are you just kind of like done going hard, getting hungover?
I'm very social. And then I had a friend who went through rehab in 2006, and I kind of became his sober buddy, and I would fly out to LA like every other week and hang out with him. And so that was the other reason why I didn't drink, is because I was around him and was trying to help him stay sober.
That's good.
Wow.
But no, like this past weekend, unfortunately, we celebrated one of our employees' birthday and had way too much tequila and did the stupid things that I should not have done. And Sunday morning, I was feeling it.
Yeah.
You had fun though?
We had a great time.
Yeah.
Worth it.
Like I always say, I don't drink a lot, but when I drink a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah, once you start.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm here.
All right. Boating accidents.
We have done some boating accidents, like at Lake Texoma and at Lake Louisville, where boats have been hit by other boats.
So scary.
I've seen some crazy.
Oh my
videos
God!
of
There's.
that.
I don't think I'm talking out of turn. It was really Aaron Stevens, the guy in Stevens Transport. He was up at Lake Texoma, and this is years ago, and he was taken off. He had a 42 or 47 foot fountain, and a kid came across in front of him. And when you start off in one of those boats, they kind of come up out of the water, then plane. And Steven never saw it coming across and ran over the kid. And I remember seeing them pull the kid out of the water. And Steven did everything he can to save the kid's life. I mean, to his credit, he really went out of his way to try to do that. And it was just a horrible thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is sad.
See, we always see the bad things.
I know.
Like I had to go down to Ennis today, and there's two 18-wheelers, and Lucy's with me in my car, and I'm like, F this. And next thing you know, we did like 110 to get around these two tractor trailers. I'm like, I'm not getting near them, because I was watching their load, and it was kind of moving. And I'm like, in our little car, we would just get crushed if that stuff fell off.
Well, you see all that.
Yes, we see that stuff, so we think about it. Yeah. Yeah.
This would not be a good job for me.
No, me neither. I wouldn't be able to sleep. I don't even know. I mean, there's so many. Even reading this, I'm like, oh my God, child injuries.
Yeah, we've done a bunch of different children that have been injured.
Construction accidents, I can only imagine.
Yep. And they usually are preventable. We represented my all, and no disrespect to all my other clients, probably my all-time favorite client was a lady whose husband was electrocuted when they were building. You know, when you go under the Addison airport, that tunnel, it's like a tollway kind of deal.
Oh, yeah.
When they first started building that, they had a rock slide. And so it threw the schedule off. And the way those construction contracts work, they get bonuses if they hit certain milestones. Well, they were behind from day one. So they were doing everything they could to cut safety to get it through. And they were trying to put these emergency generator backups because the governor was coming up. They were doing this whole deal. And they basically, what they should have done was shut down all the power there for the day. And they didn't. It had rained. And when they lifted the generator up, the boom shifted, went into the power line. And James was holding the generator, and he became the conduit into the ground. And the electricity blew him up. Yeah.
Blew him up?
Yeah. Like literally. Because it had, no. Like literally when all the voltage is going through his body, it had to have a place to exit. And so it exited through his body when it did just.
Wow.
Yeah,
he did not make it?
Did not make it. Yeah.
He exploded.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really messed up.
Whoa.
And it's a preventable deal. All they had to do was de-energize those lines for.
Oh, this is from Michael. Electric scooter accidents.
Oh, yeah.
You know what's funny?
Jay.
We've looked at those, and I'm more worried about, like, where my office is in Uptown, those crazy people, like, drive them, and they don't even look for, like, oncoming traffic. They just cut out.
Michael, do you have anything to say?
Mine was settled by Judge Steve Harvey, so I'm good.
Judge Steve Harvey.
That's funny.
That is a fact.
That is funny.
Wow. Hospital sexual abuse.
Wow.
We have done some sexual abuse cases before, yeah.
Hospital sexual abuse?
Yeah, where doctors have done things with other employees and patients.
Wow.
Yeah, where patients have been under anesthesia.
I've always thought about
The dentist. I've heard of dentists doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really kind of creepy stuff.
Yeah.
Was at the dentist knocked out.
Yeah. It's like that movie, Horrible Bosses,
Yeah, Horrible
with Jennifer
Bosses,
Aniston.
yes.
She's like, either you're going to fuck me or you're going to fuck me. Yeah. And
I don't think people would mind Jennifer Aniston as their dentist, but
yeah, that crazy stuff goes on.
Lyft accidents.
Yeah, and what's so sad is the Lyft and Uber drivers are trying to do the right thing. They're out driving people who have been drinking too much and trying to get them home safely. And they're out at 2, 3 in the morning taking people home from the clubs, and they end up getting hit a lot because they get hit by the drunks that should be in a Lyft or an Uber.
Oh my God.
And Siri used to have a deal where you could say, Siri, I'm drunk, and it would automatically call Uber for you.
No way.
Yeah.
that doesn't happen anymore.
They changed the setting on it now. I don't know if there was some kind of tip between Uber or Lyft or something, but it used to be a pretty cool deal where you could just like, Siri, I'm drunk, and it would automatically pop up Uber for you.
No way.
Yeah. And so then there was like no excuse.
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah, I feel there's still no excuse, man. With Uber
No,
now,
Same, I
I mean,
agree.
back in the day, it was harder, but now, I Uber everywhere. If I know that I'm going to even touch one drink, Uber. It's way cheaper than any.
I'm going to wrap my nephew out here real quick, and I've always told him that. And he ended up getting a DWI. And my brother spent like 10 grand defending. He ended up winning the case. It got dismissed.
But you never really win because you still spent the 10 grand.
Exactly. And that's what I told him. I'm like, he could have paid for Uber for the rest of his life off that 10 grand that it costs to defend you. And
that's how I
just,
see it.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Yep.
It's crazy to do.
Nursing home abuse, I think that is
We still
so
look at them,
awful.
but we just don't usually take them.
use
Yeah.
And do you not take them because now the laws are harder to defend these people? Because do you feel that all these lobbyists kind of go and they make these rules because stuff happens and then
Correct. What they did back in 2002 is it was called House Bill 4, and they had promised that if they passed this legislation that it would reduce the insurance for doctors in the state of Texas. And they were true in that the year before that, a friend of mine is an orthopedic surgeon. His rates had gone up 25%, even though he didn't have a malpractice claim. So they passed HB 4. They dropped their rates 10% the next year. So think about it. They're still up 15% from the year before. They give Jack his 10% discount. The following year, they raise it 20%. So they got their 10% back plus another 10%, and they've continued to rise ever since, but yet they've capped their exposure. And so it's made insurance companies way more profitable, which is, and it's terrible for the citizens, and people just didn't. And I mean, I've seen so many things from like nurses that couldn't pass the exams. They used their mom's license, and like this doctor that there's a way he started off in Pakistan, gets licensed in India, I'm sorry, and then gets licensed in the UK, goes from the UK to Canada because they got reciprocity, goes from Canada to North Dakota to then South Dakota, and I can't remember, he went to another state after that then had reciprocity with Texas, and that's how he got his Texas license.
Wow.
And so they figured out ways to game the system.
I can't. That's so scary.
And that's why it's so, and don't look at Google reviews when you start looking for your doctors. Look at like where they went to school, what they did, where their residency was, the things they've done. Because like, the ones that can't get into medical school here, they'll go to like the University of 𝐬𝐏. And so it's like, okay, I want to hang out on the beach for 4 years, but then they get a medical degree and come back.
Oh my gosh.
So it's, I always tell people, don't just go by Google reviews. Actually look at their background and what have they done.
Oh. This might actually be for me. Slip and fall accidents.
We normally don't. I will tell you.
Take it. I found it in my closet.
No. I have taken one slip and fall case in the last probably 10 years. And they have to be, because in Texas, you have to prove that they knew or should have known of an unreasonably dangerous condition. And we actually had a lady, they had cut the bottle of like Tide, and so there was soap all over the floor, but it was clear. And their policy said they're supposed to put a sign out saying wet floor, supposed to go mop it up. But he wanted to go on a smoke break. So he just left it there. And fortunately enough, he actually filled out an incident report and wrote on there, I cut the Tide package open. It was leaked everywhere, but I went on my smoke break before I went to clean it up. And she ended up with back surgery and had a brain injury, and that's the reason why we took that case.
Wow.
So,
Mom, remember when you, the buggy?
I always talk about this. I mean, not that it would be anything, but this was when they first started Burlington Coat Factory. I'll never forget it. Their buggies, you couldn't take them out of the store anymore. And I'm power walking everywhere. I'm always in a hurry, and I'm like going like this, and it stopped so fast. It hit my shin so bad. I was hurt so bad. I was like, this is unacceptable. I'm going to go to a lawyer. I'm suing them. I didn't know you back then. I should have.
What's your call line, Jay?
833 Jay Wins. Feel free to give us a call.
He wouldn't have
jaywins.com.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
Wrongful death.
Unfortunately, we do handle a lot of cases where people are killed.
What does wrongful death entail?
It basically is like you were I'm trying to think of the last one we did. That would be a good example. You know, you're hit by an 18-wheeler and you end up dying in the crash.
Got it.
That type of thing.
What about like murder cases?
No, I don't do any.
You
I don't do
that.
any criminal stuff. No, you know what's funny is I used to practice with some criminal guys early on, and I could do like a DWI or something like that, but I don't think I could ever do like a murder. I know I could never do. And the guy that used to office next to me, Tom Pappas, he's really known for handling sex crimes and like molesters and stuff. And that to me just turns my stomach. I can't stand that. And so I believe everyone has the right to an attorney. I believe everyone has the right to a fair trial. It's just not something that I personally could do.
Well, you have enough. Here.
Yeah, it's just it would gross me out, and I'd probably be like, throw the dude away. That's just gross.
Dog bites. I just saw that.
We actually have done some dog bite. Very selective. We represented a soldier who had just come back from doing a tour, and his next door neighbor's pit bull bit his face and literally pulled his face off.
Did you hear about that girl in 𝐸𝐿 she was dog sitting and the two dogs attacked her? Dude, and they ripped her whole face off.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She was in college. It was in 𝐸𝐿. I saw it on TikTok.
Gosh, your TikTok is brutal.
Exactly.
Your For You page is rough.
I don't know. It's just worse, the dog eating people or the woman eating the burrito.
I know the mukbangs.
Or the burrito.
Yeah. It is. My For You is interesting.
Something a little, I don't know if everybody knows, but Jay is an excellent cook. He makes the best cheesecakes.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He
Those
is
videos. I've seen those.
Incredible.
Yeah, I do make a good cheesecake.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to talk about this one case you had, the mercy killing